Lights on or off?
Off. Who falls asleep with the lights
Some
on?
people do. You never know. I don't think we asked that
They're
question.
probably serial killers.
I already told you I don't snore. Or at least I was told. I've been told.
Like, we're engaged now.
I know you said.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Geek Up. I'm Josh.
I'm Billy.
I'm Ashley.
And it's season 3 of Love is Blind, our favorite
That's right. It's back. It's
love show.
Yeah.
About time, damn it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The dating show that we all love where people are in the pods.
This is
In
way
the-
better than The Bachelor. I don't know
Oh,
why
yeah?
people still watch The Bachelor.
Bachelor's old school.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody ever watched it to begin with.
This is the dating show. If you want to watch a dating show, this is the one.
Real skin in the game with the proposal.
Yeah.
Leave them at the altar.
That's
Take
right.
them as your bride. Vice versa.
Yeah, we got a lot of characters this time too, man. We always do, I guess. But and this season kind of went by pretty fast that time, man. The first 4 episodes just flew by compared to the last seasons. I thought the last seasons kind of dragged out a little bit more with the pods, but this one was like after 2 episodes, pods were done,
Yeah,
and
the
they
pods were quick.
yeah,
I
they
think.
were- and they were moving
Maybe
on.
it's because the new format where they're splitting it up. You get 4 episodes in the front and then 3 and 3, where
Yeah.
normally they just dump them all on you. What do you think about that format?
I wanted all of them.
Hmm.
I need to know. Now I gotta wait.
And I don't know what city these guys are in.
no, they
Did it
haven't told
say?
us that.
No, they
yet.
didn't. You're right. They haven't said
So
anything
where are
about
all
city.
these people from?
Yeah, that's a good
They
point.
haven't told us, so
Good
I guess
point.
we figure that out when they go
Because what the first
Home.
one was what Atlanta. or-
Atlanta
yeah.
and then
Second one,
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah.
So where are they? We don't know
Yeah.
yet.
All right, man. Let's get into the folks. I mean, your favorite girl, Alexa, Josh. Why don't you get us started here, man?
Yeah, she's in there. There's a lot of good people. At first, I had a hard time like finding someone to latch
people?
onto. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my person. I couldn't find my person initially,
That's
so
right.
I felt I was in the pods. Like I don't know. I'm just not
Yeah, like,
clicking.
who do I
with
want
these.
here?
So
I my feelings about the people did evolve a little bit as I watched it. Like there were certain women I was rooting for and certain men I was rooting for and then certain couples I was rooting for. And then that changed
Yeah.
as they were talking.
And then of course, we got a lot less of the Lachey's in this one, man. You don't see Lachey's too much in this
yeah,
one.
I don't even know
Yeah.
why they bother having
No,
a
I don't
host
either.
because the host doesn't really even do anything.
No. You know, a lot of the other love shows we watch, they're like at least trying to give him advice. They're talking to him about stuff. And this one,
Interviewing them,
and this one,
yeah.
the Lachey's just show up. Hey, everybody, we're the Lachey's. Have fun.
Yeah.
The pods are now open.
Good luck, fellas. Good luck.
This is it, guys. This is it.
Got it.
Yeah.
You know, you think it'd be interesting, like, because they do have interviews. Like, why aren't like the Lachey's interviewing and
Yeah.
them say, "You're getting ready to propose. What do you think? You
Mhm.
know, do you care how they looked? Have you talked about it? And like
I don't
interview
wanna
them
see
and get
that,
more
though.
stuff.
Right.
No,
I don't want to see that though because I think the Lachey's were more involved in what was that other one? The
Ultimatum.
Exes, the
Ultimatum, yeah.
ultimatum, and it was just annoying. They
Hmm.
they constantly compared their relationships with.
yeah.
Their
I don't like the
personal
2 hosts with
relationship.
them in particular,
Yeah.
but like,
so
But-
I didn't really enjoy it that much.
But that whole roundtable thing in Ultimatum was cool, though. The way they had everybody, you know,
Yeah,
they had
that
them
was
all there
kinda cool.
well,
talking
yeah,
and
at
stuff, right?
the
So,
end, I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm talking like even in before that. I don't know. I'm fine with the level of hosting that they do.
so
at
what do
this
we
point.
think about these individuals? Anyone
Dude.
you're clicking with, Billy?
yeah,
like
well,
they
well, dude,
impress you
so,
right
so
out the
many of
gate?
these people remind me of people from the past episodes. You're like, Cole is totally Barnett, right?
Yeah.
A little
Looks,
bit.
I
Got a
mean, he's
little
got
bit
the
of
same
him.
mannerisms, looks a lot like him. You got freaking Bartiste, yeah, who kind of reminds me of Gary Busey a little bit in the pods, the way he's talking to the women
Shane.
and stuff. Yeah, kind of reminds me of Shane character, you know, in the
Mhm.
pods.
Oh,
And you know, I mean, later in the episodes, not so much because he just becomes a complete douche, like in that last episode we saw. But yeah, he kind of reminds me of Shane a little bit. You had one of the girls reminded me kind of the Asian chick from the second season. So you got people who like you're kind of seeing. Like, oh yeah, that kind of
Natalie.
reminds me of this Natalie. Yeah, you got like there's people who kind of remind you of other characters who've already been on the show.
Zainab, I think, reminds me of Natalie.
Yeah, there you go. That's who it was. You're right.
because
It was, yep, you're right. It was
she's
Zainab. Yep.
fun, she's quirky,
Mhm.
but she's also like business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, who are you connecting with? You think? Who do you think's cool? Like right off the bat, without knowing deeper into the episodes,
Like at the
straight up,
beginning
like,
of the episode.
how they look, how they initially present
Okay,
themselves.
so everyone is I'm like alone on this island that what is her name? Raven? I thought
Raven.
I was thrown off by her look at first. And she does say it at some point in time. She says, I'm not for everybody. Like my look isn't for everybody. And at first I thought she was very scary looking to me. It was weird. I was like, is she supposed to be really beautiful? And then like
Wow.
everybody keeps telling me how beautiful she is. And honestly, her personality I don't like her at all, her personality. However, I will say the more I watched her, I do see the beauty. And so initially my first was like, no, she's not a beautiful person, but then now I do think she's a beautiful person, even though I still don't like her personality.
Well, I'll just put it plain and simple. In the illustrious words of Bartiste, Raven's an effing smoke show.
So I'm obviously jealous of her hair too, because like I don't have any.
She's a nice
but-
Raven is just very attractive, very
Yeah, beautiful.
fit. I mean,
But I will tell you things I was thrown off by, and I know a lot of this has to do with editing, is like Raven immediately tells everybody she's a Pilates instructor. And Colleen immediately tells everybody she's a ballet dancer. And I'm pretty sure that was like, because I mean, you're going to tell the person what you do.
Right.
Right. But you have a ballet dancer, a person on the other side who's supposed to be in a blind
Yeah. All the guys are lighting up
project.
quick.
Like you have an image, or you know a body type, you know something about that person when you say they're a ballet dancer.
Or a Pilates instructor, right?
Right. Like, I mean, if I'm in there in the pod and I hear the guy says he's a sumo wrestler, then I know exactly what he looks like. You know what I mean? Like,
That's true. Right.
so I think like you had made the suggestion, like they probably shouldn't even cast people like that, because it does kind of ruin that blindness. Like there's no risk of like the body type at that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you know what you're getting into. on
yeah, I
some
mean,
level.
if someone
That's
was
true.
an accountant, like a female accountant, you wouldn't know anything
Yeah,
about them
including-
really.
Right.
But when someone says I'm
Well,
a
it's like-
fitness instructor,
right.
then you know exactly who they are.
All right. So yeah, so it was like Nancy, right? Nancy's a realtor, so you don't get like I said, it's kind of one of those jobs where okay, they could look like anything.
Nancy's
Yeah.
a speech pathologist.
Yeah, but then when you read about it, it says she's also a realtor. So 'cause I actually went online and read about these people, like 'cause I was trying to find out if they're still together or not. But obviously they don't spoil that. But it says she's a realtor also. So
cheating, are you?
I was cheating a little bit, man.
My first impressions of looks wise, Colleen's very beautiful.
She had
What's the
Cole.
The
first-
ballet dancers,
She had
Colleen.
Cole. She had Cole.
yeah.
She had Cole at Flexible.
Alexa, I thought was very pretty, although maybe over Botoxed.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to be
Wow.
judgmental, but you asked me
No,
who
I
I
agree.
thought was really pretty.
No, you're right. I agree.
didn't
I
ask
agree.
you who was
I
pretty.
agree.
I said who are you going for? Like,
But I agree. Her, she got a little too much Botox
Well,
on the
this
lips
is
there.
you're saying and first initial reactions, because like obviously my opinions of people aren't about their looks. My opinions of people are about, but I have to watch the episode.
well,
to
she's
get
a
that
bigger girl.
information.
She knows it. She says she likes food, so
Yeah, but she
she's-
owns it. She owns it
Yeah,
though. She's
she's-
bigger and she owns it. She's proud. Like,
Yeah,
I'm a
she's
big girl.
comfortable with who she is.
Exactly.
At least that's what she says.
And I
So.
think Zainab's really pretty.
Yeah, Zainab's pretty.
As far as the guys go, Cole's cute, obviously.
Matt didn't get
Yeah.
much love until near the end on this.
Yeah, that's true.
Matt is not like great looking, but he's just a very average looking guy, but like he's attractive. I
Yeah,
guess.
and the thing is, he's got personality, right? Like in the first couple, in
Yeah,
the first,
he-
in the
he
first
did
couple
seem
times,
flat.
yeah, in the first couple times he seemed flat, but then as it progressed, his personality grew, and they're like, okay, I could see this.
Yeah, I
so,
see that. Yeah, and so okay, that's it. You were asking me my initial impressions, but then as I'm watching the episodes, my impressions of people changed greatly.
Yeah, so my initial impression with Raven is she was smoking. That's still my impression of her, but she did have kind of a bad attitude. But it's that kind of starts to soften up some, right? And you can see in the previews for the next episodes that definitely softens up a lot more. So I'm hoping that we can see a more of a softer side of Raven. So.
I'm
let's hope
cool with
you-
her, but the thing that really bothered me, and it also bothered Bartise, is when he's pouring his heart out about his mom's
yeah.
story. She's sitting there doing jumping jacks and like pacing around the room, and he knows she's doing that, and he's like, "That's kind of disrespectful. I'm here
Yeah.
telling you my story, and you're
Mhm.
jumping jack." And she didn't even seem like she was really absorbing what he was putting out. So
Yeah.
I would never have thought in a million years I'm going to share that fucking story. I can't believe I just did.
That was hard for you, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, you do your jumping jacks.
No,
that was the big kind of turn off to me, and that's I think what actually steered him toward
Towards-
Colleen.
No, exactly. I agree, man. Yeah, that
Nancy.
was messed up.
Or is it Nancy?
Nancy, yeah,
Nancy.
Nancy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Nancy.
Matt's got Colleen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree, man. I was like sitting there watching this chick do her freaking jumping jacks and exercise while he's
It
trying.
was- well, it
He's like
started
laying out
with
his
hip
freaking heart to her, you know.
Yeah.
It started with hip thrusters. Then she went to cat cow. She just kept doing other things. And then when she was talking to SK,
She was doing something
she
too.
was doing the tricep extensions, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
She
this,
did stop for him though.
She did
'cause She was
stop.
like, "Oh, really?"
yeah.
When he was like playing on her heartstrings too, he was just saying all the right stuff that. For me, I was like, is that really that special? But she was like taking it to heart and tearing up a little
Yeah,
bit
she
what
was.
SK was saying and stuff. So,
And
What-
I think
you know.
that's what did it for her on him.
yeah,
So
no,
Yeah.
exactly.
those two things were, I think, big like moments for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, physical attraction wise, let's talk about that. I mean, you could tell right off the bat, she really wasn't digging SK when she saw him, I don't think, I mean, she kind of played it off like she did, but then as it progressed a little bit and they're in the room together, right, the first night, she's kind of steering away from him. It kind of reminded me of, so that was very
Kyle and
Shayna.
Shayna.
Yeah, Kyle Shayna. It was like Kyle Shayna from the last season. It was very awkward. Now, they're showing us that, that softens up some in the future episodes. That's going to be cool to see, I guess. But I was feeling bad for SK. He seems like a decent guy. He seems like he's a good dude.
Yeah.
We need to be a cupcake. Like, you got to put the icing on
Cupcakes are more like
it. More razzle
delicate.
dazzle.
No, they're more delicate.
No, they're more razzle. It's a razzle dazzle muffin.
Yeah.
Decent guy. And she was just kind of like giving him the stiff shoulder.
Yeah,
there.
I wonder if like, him being from Nigeria and having like a kind of a different culture, if that's going to impact anything. Because like maybe he's not over joyous running to her, and maybe he just takes it a little bit slow
Yeah.
and is more
He seemed pretty
composed
laid
than
back.
a typical American or something like that.
Well, my opinion of her is that she is way too into herself.
Yeah.
She's not willing, and she admits it at some point in the pot that any relationship she's been in, she's guilty of them loving her and putting more into the relationship than she does.
Yeah, that's true.
And I just don't think she's capable at this point in time to do that. I don't know if she's trying to change that and she wants to change that, and that's why she's doing this show. But I definitely see that. Like, I mean, I didn't think Batista's story was that heart-wrenching either, but he was literally opening up to you. He's talking to you, and you're
Well, he
just
said
doing
I
a
don't tell
workout.
many people this.
Yeah,
and, stuff, so.
and you're working out. Like, I just don't. And then when he made the comment, like, you could tell he was trying to be nice about it, but it bothered him. And she's like, "Oh, you could hear that?" Like, oh.
Batiste gets as deep as he's ever gotten in his life, and the person that's listening to him is doing a fucking workout.
No, that's funny.
Like, dude, everybody can hear that. That was loud.
Yeah, I was totally listening.
Why did
It's
she kind of
fine.
like minimize? She's like, that's not that big of a deal. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
I just
she
don't
doesn't
think
know how big of a
she
deal
did
it was.
not
She wasn't
realize
listening.
the gravity of what he was telling her
Right.
for
Yeah.
him. So.
Well, because to her,
and maybe that's a pod situation too.
yeah. Well, and to
Yeah.
her, like you just said, you didn't think his story was that big of a deal, and maybe she's thinking the same thing as he's telling her. Like, okay, well, it's,
The person I was probably most drawn to initially was Zenib. I liked her story with her parents and stuff like that. I thought she's good looking, and she just seemed mature and ready for a relationship. I thought so.
Yeah, no, I like Zeneb too.
No
She's-
games and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I like her. I'll tell you, when another person who was kind of jacked up was Colleen, right? Because Cole and Colleen are talking, and Cole's like hard on, like, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna go Colleen." Then he's asking her deep questions. He's like, "Well, hey, can we have some deep conversation here? If we're gonna get married, that's what marriage is. You're gonna have deep conversations." She's like, "Yeah, that's not really me. I'm not really into deep conversations and all that." And then in my head, I'm like, "Then what the hell are you doing here?"
on the show,
It's like,
yeah.
And then that turned Cole off big time. He's like, "Okay, well, I don't think you're the one for me then."
Yeah.
yeah, well, she got rejected twice and
Yeah.
kind of like took it pretty hard, even though just talking to these people, it's nothing
Yeah, I don't-
serious at this point.
yeah.
So
Right.
I don't know how you take that as a hard rejection. I guess the whole idea is you're connecting somebody on your personality. And so now
Mm-hmm.
if you've already got insecurities about your look and now two people have rejected you based on your personality, it's like, well, crap.
Well-
What do I have to offer? But even though she has no reason to be insecure about the way she looks,
No, not at all.
but she did say that she did have some insecurities. So
But at least Cole was like flat out like, the way he explained it to her made perfect sense to me, and I think it made perfect sense to anybody else. So it's like, I don't see how she could be mad about that. He's like, well, look, I'm looking for somebody who is wanting to have deep
Right.
conversations, and if that's not you, then hey, then we're not, then this ain't for
Right.
us, So the way he explained it, it's not like he was being mean to her or anything like that. He was like, look, this is what I'm looking for. You're not showing it, so gotta move on.
And clearly, Brennan like made a connection with Alexa like pretty quick. So
Yeah.
he's just like, I don't even want to explore anything else really. So this is how I feel about
Yeah,
her.
when
Sorry.
Yeah.
And
he came in.
she
and
took that pretty hard.
Yeah.
He came into the men's like group here. He's like, I mean, I'm practically engaged already. Like what was like day 2 or something.
You know what I thought was kind of odd is like some of these people are like ordering food when they're breaking up with them, and I'm like, the food doesn't get eaten because who's going to want to eat after hearing that news? So
Yeah.
I'm like, and then it was really odd for Bartise. Like he had money on the floor and food for Raven, and that was kind of like odd
For the breakup.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Well,
What message are you sending her too?
Well, let's get into that, right? Because Raven, like, and this was a little weird, right? Because she was like, did not really want to tell the guys this, but she's
Like on the weekends, like I do some service industry things.
like I'm a bottle,
Service
I'm in the service
industry.
industry, yeah, service industry. But the way she was trying to talk about it sounded like entertainment industry, which is why he put the dollars on there, just to mess with her and calling her a stripper, right? But she, you know, of course, she's like, well, you know, I'm a bottle girl at one club, and I'm a bartender at another club, and yeah, you know, but she was being kind of iffy about it, almost like
it's very odd.
yeah, like what are
Yeah.
you doing as the bottle girl in that club? Because you're making it sound like.
Because
Yeah,
she's
you go
like,
into
it's
that-
been a problem in the
yeah,
past for some
yeah,
guys.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
go into
like,
that VIP room, and what the hell's going on in there?
I mean, I could see how it's a problem, but the way she presented it
Very
was
shady.
very dramatic and shady. And I'm like, just say I'm a bartender. Does that bother you?
Right, exactly. Yeah, so, hey, I'm a bartender and I'm a freaking bottle girl. You know, is that a
What-
problem?
she also said that she's never used a vibrator. What are your thoughts on that? That's tough, man. You can't even have a wingman in the bedroom.
Yeah, no kidding,
You know
man.
what
Yeah,
I mean?
Let's pack my vibrator coming here.
I have never used one.
What?
Either. Never.
I didn't. When did she say that, man? I must have
I
missed that.
forgot
She was
about
confiding
that.
in
That was,
someone,
like, in
and
the
they were
first
talking about that.
episode.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
missed that.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no
I forgot
vibrators for
about
her.
it.
Wow.
You know, she didn't say she wouldn't use one. She just says she's never used one.
Well,
Also, she
you
could
know.
be lying.
Yeah. I don't know,
Okay.
man.
What do we think about Anthony? He's another character.
Yeah. So that dude, man, that dude. Talk about somebody who's totally into themselves, man.
Oh my
So
god.
this is Mr. World Traveler, freaking
Mr. Tony Stark
Yeah,
right
Tony-
here. I don't
exactly.
know.
Like I'm rich as hell, and you know I'm so rich that I like retired. And now I'm just a wildlife photographer, sleeping with the lions and feeding the lions and all this crazy stuff, man. And I've been to France, and I've been to.
He made it sound like he was a time traveler,
I
like changing the world.
yeah,
I was here doing this. I did this over here.
I got sucked into the Bermuda Triangle, and I popped out somewhere else. And yeah,
It was a great
crazy, man.
experience, you know.
his like sexual talk. He's like, I
Oh
can
my
like
God.
orgasm.
I'm Sting, baby. He said I'm
Yeah.
Sting. I'm tantric. Yeah.
Let me tell you, when he was talking about like how he was taken in by this one older lady,
41-year-old woman, yeah.
41-year-old who taught him how to do this sexual kung fu of like being able to orgasm without ejaculating. At that point in time, I would have said, well, obviously you don't need anybody else
Right, you're
anyway.
good.
Just
And I
walk
would
out
have
of the
just
room.
walked out of the room
Right,
because I'm
right.
like, I can't.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just stop.
That dude was so full of
I'm
himself.
waiting for him to be like, I've learned to have sex without being with a person in my mind. So it's like, what do you need anyone for?
It's like the what was it, the Demolition Man thing? You just put on a little.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know.
I was waiting for him to sit there and be like, I just orgasmed right now.
As I'm talking to you.
He just talking. He's like, okay.
No, he doesn't even need to do
And
that.
I'm starting
it
to,
just happened.
I'm
That's
starting
right.
to wonder if he's like all this traveling is in his mind as well, and
Right,
he's not
exactly.
actually going
Like,
anywhere.
yeah,
I
he-
need pictures. I need to see that this actually happened.
Yeah, he's really just a barista, freaking Starbucks. He just makes all this crap up. Yeah, that dude's his stories, man. I was like, holy. cow.
Because like the big thing with him is like he gets dumped, right? And then like they're filming him, and he's like, "Are we filming?"
By
And they're
Nancy.
like, "Yeah." And then he starts putting eye drops in his eyes, and then he starts like, what does he say?
He's like, is this okay? Is it okay if I'm doing
Well,
this?
at first, the first set he puts in, I'm thinking, and they
Yeah, you think maybe he's got some dry eyes or something?
well, like, you know, he's trying to like he's got red eyes because maybe he has been crying and blah blah blah. And then he asks to put more. He's like, "Is this okay?" And they're like, "Well, if
Your eyes are hurting.
yeah, like, yeah, your eyes are hurting, whatever. You know what I mean?
He's like, yeah, my eyes are hurting.
But then he puts like 100 drops
yeah.
in one side, 70 in the
Yeah.
other, and then he's like, "What's ever made me cry like this before?"
Yeah.
What?
I mean, you're like, huh? I guess he thought they'd cut that and do their magic
No.
editing and make him look good.
Netflix
But
called him out on
that's
that
money
one.
right there for Netflix. That's money.
they're like, look at this clown. What's he, you think we're stupid?
Yeah.
So
Oh man, yeah. That dude's
that
character.
obviously makes you question everything he said as well.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh, no
the
doubt.
guy like seems super fake. So
Yeah.
Well, and that's ultimately what Nancy said.
Mm-hmm.
She said, you know, I'm here opening up. I've been completely honest through this process. And I feel like he came in and was just more.
Like too laid back, too just kind of going with the flow, too
he
knowing what he's gonna
didn't
say.
Yeah, like he was putting on a persona.
Mhm,
She didn't
exactly.
she didn't feel like he was truly being himself.
Yeah, and he sure said wasn't acting like it.
No.
and Brennan drops the first L bomb on Alexa, and I mean the lobster L bomb with her. And I mean he's out the gate saying he loves her real quick, and that's the first proposal. What do you think about those two hooking up?
Yeah, man, I thought it was cool. You know, I mean, he reminds me of just seeing those two together. I was like, all right, I can see them together. I mean, he's a tall, skinny dude. You know, she's a bigger girl, but they just for me when I was watching, I was like, yeah, okay, they click, man.
He seems
can
over
see
the
them
moon
working.
for her. So
Yeah, as
I
see them
can't
working.
read her. Maybe it's the Botox. I don't know. Like I can't her body language or her facial expressions like when they're together.
Mhm.
And then he constantly throws compliments at her and she says, "Good. Thanks."
she
Like,
doesn't reciprocate when
she doesn't reciprocate and she doesn't even act that like flattered by it. She's just like,
Yeah, well, and maybe she's not used to getting those type of
Maybe not.
compliments, and maybe that's why she's kind of
Maybe.
like, you know,
I don't know.
yeah, who knows?
Maybe
man.
not.
But he'll be. I mean, he seems like the nicest, most
he's a good
genuine
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
I am completely in love with you. You're so beautiful, and she's like, oh, thanks.
Mhm.
But she never
Yeah.
says thanks. You're not too bad yourself,
Right,
or,
right.
or anything
Right.
like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So I'm having a hard time reading her if she's as into him as he is into
So,
her.
but in the camera, you know, when it's just talking to her in the camera, she was saying, "Yeah, I love him. He's awesome." You
Yeah.
know, so
In the interviews.
right,
Sure.
and she did sleep with him on the first night, so maybe, you know, who knows? Maybe she got to be into him somewhat, you would think, but
Maybe she was testing it out. I don't
yeah,
know.
but she just say she want to taste all the flavors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now Matt's been
Yeah.
previously married, and
Mhm.
apparently his ex cheated on him and got
Pregnant with
preggers.
another dude, man.
So he's
That
pretty
ends-
scarred from that. I
That
guess.
ends things, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's hard to bounce back
Ain't no
from.
coming back from that.
No.
And he doesn't seem very lively initially in the pods, but when they get to the honeymoon phase, he kind of opens up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man. He's getting all touch feely
And
with
you
her.
know
and he's like,
what?
yeah.
You wonder who the drinker is in this season? I think it might be Colleen.
Yeah, possibly.
Well, those two, like Matt, seems like lit every time he's doing an interview, like in the honeymoon or
Yeah.
something. You know,
Man, that's having a good time, man.
Yeah.
They're having some
he's
fun.
pretty happy with
Yeah,
his
oh, yeah.
selection, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I
But
mean, he's to the moon about her, man.
He's like an executive, a vice president or
Yeah,
something.
Vice
like
president
of
of
aeronautics, like aeronautics company.
aerospace manufacturer.
So maybe
Yeah.
maybe he's very like business and that he's treating this like a vacation and he's like vacation you drink. Like I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But those two kind of developed late. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but then once they hit it off, they hit it off.
I almost thought
that
that was like a Hail Mary for her to like stay on the show,
Mhm.
but I don't know. They
kind of was
seem pretty
kind of
cool.
like when Shayna said yes to
Right.
to what's his name just to stay on the show, you know.
Mhm, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like they seem pretty strong.
Well, I mean,
in the
yeah,
honeymoon
once they got
phase, so-
together, man, they hit it off, and they're, I mean, you know, they both said, yeah, we had sex several times. It's like everybody's having sex except poor SK, man. He's the only guy that's you know, he's kind of stuck in the friend zone there.
I'm a little unsure if Cole and them did that.
What's that?
Like
Yes,
got together.
she said
She
said-
four
said,
times.
but it
And then
didn't
she said-
seem like they did because
Four
they both were
times.
together 24 hours at that point.
Well,
right?
No,
and then she said, oh, actually 5. She's like, actually 5 times. So she said
But
4 first, and she's
you
like, oh,
know
actually
that
5.
they got together because that's what was the spark of the uncomfortableness in the morning. They had
Mhm,
spent the night
yeah.
together and it was an amazing
Oh, I
night.
thought they were just like nothing
No.
happened, and then she was questioning a bunch of things like, "Is it me? What's going
Yeah,
on?"
no, she's like, we had a great night together. We had sex. She even said, yeah, we had sex together. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden in the morning, he's just very awkward. And he's like standoffish and not talking to me.
But
So-
in what was being filmed, she seemed to be the awkward one.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Well, they both seemed a little awkward, I think. At
yeah,
that
like
point.
he was trying to like be cute and he's like, it says I love you in the little
was
steam,
entertained.
and she's like, I know.
Well,
She's like,
I
"Watch with
see
the damn
that."
towel on the back."
well, because by that point, he had already ignored her for a while, I'm guessing. We
Yeah.
just really didn't get to see
Yeah.
that. But she had said that.
I
you
mean,
know.
it's early morning. You're just waking up. Maybe you're groggy, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Uh."
Well, it's the thing, they don't know each other's morning routines yet. So that's just, I
Yeah.
mean, he's doing his morning routine, but she's just.
She's a little
Yeah.
cranky, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, right.
She's a little cranky.
Oh yeah.
Maybe she's not a morning
I thought
person.
those two were going to be really strong, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, I don't know.
Well, but then they did kind of fix it towards the end of that 4th episode too. They were, you see they're kind of strong again together. So
I wouldn't
think
say
they're doing
strong, but
They're doing pretty well. Yeah.
I don't know. They both seem questioning it to me because even when they're at that little get together, he's like, "It's not the same as being in the pods," and she's kind of like, "It's not the same as when we're in the pods."
Yeah.
One of the other kind of surprise couples is like Bartice and Nancy are getting along really
Oh,
well.
yeah,
They do
dude.
have an
Yeah.
awkward conversation when they're in the tub, and then she brings up like, "What do you do when the toilet stops up and you don't have a plunger?" And he's like, "What?"
Like, let's say you didn't have a plunger. What if you were at your friend's house and Dookie in the toilet?
Yeah, when there's
What a-
shit in the toilet and you don't have a plunger to
Like,
get
dude,
it
we're
out.
trying to get sexy. She's talking about like crap in the toilet.
He's like, I need another drink for this
Yeah, yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, that was funny, man.
But
Oh
like
my
those
gosh.
guys seem like rock solid. They have the get together, and then he's given like her the data dump from the thing,
Oh my
and
gosh,
like
man.
man, that's where it starts going south.
Yeah, that was like the end of that last episode, pretty much. So they had the little get together where everybody gets to meet the exes and all that. And then, whoa, man, well, I couldn't believe what the shit he said to Nancy there in bed that night. I was like, holy cow, dude. And I was like, what are you doing?
Nancy and Raven, I was like, fuck. I'm literally having feelings for multiple women right now.
And
Well,
maybe
before
he's
that-
he's had a little too much to drink.
possibly.
He's
They're all
trying to
drinking,
like bring her into the conversation and like, hey, I got some dirt. What do you think? But it's really dirt that he has on himself.
So before that, though, you can see it if you watch that episode. He unless it's just editing.
Yeah.
He's
Who are they
eyeing-
really looking at?
He's
though?
eyeing Raven. Raven's kind of eyeing.
Eyeing
It,
him.
it gave me very much the same feeling back last season when
Shane and Shayna.
No, the other two.
no, the other two.
Your girl, you thought looked like J-Lo. What was her name?
J-Lo.
Yeah, what was her name, man? Start with an M, didn't it?
I can't remember their names
We
either.
need like a little
What the hell was
Jeopardy
his name,
thing.
man?
Mallory.
Mallory and Sanchez, or what was his name?
Not Sanchez.
Sanchez.
The
Oh
hell
my
was this?
God.
Salvador.
Salvador.
yeah.
Sal.
But
There we go.
not Sal. It was Mallory and I can't.
Yeah,
think
but
of-
Mallory was with Sal, but then she was looking at the other dude.
She was and then he was looking at her, and it was like
But they started conversing, man. They like
Yeah.
sat down where that was bad.
so. And that's what I was like, kind of picking up on that. And then they go to the scene where he's like data dumping the night and
Oh,
how
dude.
he's talked.
Well, he's like, me and her are kind of like the two attention getters. And you're like, where are you getting that from? I'm like, she looks good. I get it. And she's going to get some attention. But I don't see any of the women like,
Flocking to him,
Yeah,
yeah.
like talking about him. But like, he's
Yeah.
just like, I got you, I got her, you're
Yeah.
up here. But
Yeah.
like, I see her and she's smoking. And like, I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Like, how are you going to tell this chick that you just had sex with several times, and then you tell you're into her that, hey, Raven's an effing smoke show?
And he doesn't
He's like,
minimize it.
She's the one
at
I go
all.
for.
He
No,
doesn't
she's the
say
kind of girl I
she's
go
hot,
for. Oh my
But
god.
she doesn't have what we got going on.
Yeah, he doesn't bring
say
it back.
anything
No,
like
oh, yeah,
that
He
yeah.
at all.
doesn't bring it
No.
back to like, yeah, she's a smoke show, but she's got nothing on you. Like, we didn't have the connection.
And he even
blah,
starts
blah,
saying,
blah.
and I'm starting to have feelings, and I'm
I was
like,
crying
she's
for
right
between
there.
both of you,
Like,
yeah.
you're having a conversation.
She's right there.
Well, then he's like, I hope you're okay with me being open with you. I'm just like,
She's
huh?
like,
Like, no, she ain't okay with that, man. What the
Yeah.
hell you doing? Oh man, that dude.
I couldn't believe that.
Oh, I couldn't either, dude. I was like, oh my gosh.
well,
man,
the
what-
other thing
and Nancy's a good-looking girl.
at the get together was Cole lied to her, to Zaynab. And I said, that's not a good start that he's lying to her.
About what?
Because she said, what were y'all talking about? He's like, we were just talking about sports.
Yeah, but he said it like jokingly. Like,
I don't
yeah,
know.
he
I
did.
don't think that was a big lie.
No,
that
I
he
wouldn't
needs
have-
to be
nah.
worried about.
I
Nah.
don't know.
Nah,
I think he's ashamed to say what he's wanted to say.
Nah, I didn't take that off his
Well,
own.
I mean, he's smart because like she already questions a lot, and he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, we were talking about like the issues we're having." You're like, okay,
yeah.
And what are those?
What are those issues exactly?
Let me get my notepad out.
Like, we'll talk to Bartice.
so what do you think about all the couples? Who's going to make it? Who's not
Mm.
at this point? What are the predictions?
Well, that's not fair to ask
It's
because
Perfectly fair.
Well,
editing.
The editing was, yeah.
Yeah, because like so far, if I had not seen the preview for what's to
next
come,
seasons, yeah,
I
next
have an
episodes.
opinion. But then the preview shows drama between the strong couples and connections between the couples.
Well,
I
you
don't
know
think
how
are
these
strong.
previews go. They
That's
kind
what
of
I'm
like
saying.
show you like
Exactly.
misdirection sometimes, so you don't really know what's
yeah, like
going on.
they like the preview really spiced it up between freaking Raven and SK, right? I mean, they're in the hot tub making out and stuff in the preview, and you're like, whoa, okay, well,
Yeah.
damn, you know. And then it made it, and then she's, you know, and of course, Raven's crying like, oh, I've never been in this situation, and have somebody love me like this or whatever, and you're like, man, well, maybe they're gonna make it, maybe they're gonna be all right. But then it's like, really, are those two really gonna be all right? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. Man.
If
It's
I
just hard.
hadn't seen the preview for the next set of episodes, I would say that Matt and Colleen are strong. If it wasn't for the very last scene, I would have thought that Bartiz and Nancy were strong, but now I'm questioning that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's that age gap, and like she's trying to have 10 kids, but she's like, I'm not going to do that till she's what, like mid-30s, and I'm like,
That's crazy, man.
Whoa, you plan on being pregnant for 10 years kind of straight? That's
that's
Till you're-
tough.
you're-
I don't know.
Yeah, and that didn't make sense to me either because she didn't want a younger. She wanted someone 35, 30, over 33, 35, whatever. And I'm like, you know how long pregnancies are? Like, are you trying to have like 5 kids
It
at
was
one
also
time?
weird
Like-
because they're like 5 or 6 years apart, but everyone, in her family is like 12 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
So she's making a big deal out of this, even though it seems pretty normal in her own family.
Right, exactly.
So that
Well,
was
for
a
her-
little odd.
For her, I think it was just more of a maturity thing, right? And I think that's really what it boiled down to. She just didn't think younger guys are mature enough to have a relationship and want to settle down and have kids and all that. It's kind of the way she made it sound, but who knows?
So yeah, I don't really see any of them other than Matt and Colleen, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I mean, because even after what we saw, the big drama between those two, I think you're right. I think they'll probably end up working, I would think.
I mean, we thought like Barnett wasn't going to
Yeah.
work out, and they're still together.
Yeah, they're still
Yeah.
one of only 2 couples still together, right?
Yeah, so Cole might be able to pull it through. I don't know. Barnett
I'd
light.
like to think that Brennan and Alexa work out. I just don't know how she feels.
Mhm.
I know he's all in.
Yeah, he's definitely in unless something changes.
I
And
just
it
don't know
seems
that
like
she
he has
is.
issues with the family because he said, I don't like to be the center of attention. They seem to be putting him on the spot and grilling him.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, like right now, I would say I'm gonna say no for those two, to be quite honest. Just because I don't know where she stands and because of the stuff they showed for the previous to the next one.
See? The previews for the next one ruined
they
everything.
showed too much. They
Yeah,
showed
they
too
showed way
much.
too much. I'm gonna say Artiste and Nancy are a no based on what they showed in that. I'm gonna say, I mean, SK and Raven, maybe. I'm giving
No.
them a maybe.
I don't see them.
I'm giving them a maybe. I
No.
don't know, man.
And even if they do get married, I don't think it lasts.
Yeah,
very
probably
long,
last,
but-
but I'm giving them a maybe to get at least get into the marriage part.
Hmm.
Cole and
Zaynab.
Zaynab, yeah, maybe. I can see them potentially making it. And then what was the other one that I'm missing?
Matt.
Oh yeah, Matt and Colleen. I think even with the drama they showed, I think they'll probably be all right.
Yeah, I think Matt
I mean,
will
he-
probably overreact to the first fight,
Right.
and then they'll pull it together.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say, "There's no effing way I'm marrying."
He
Yeah.
did say that in the preview,
But
but
you don't know what he was saying prior to that or anything else either, right? That's the
I
only
think
part
he'll
you hear.
come back around.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, you two. Now, what about you, man? What do you think?
Yeah, I think Matt works out, and I think Cole probably pulls it together with.
I
Zaynab.
hope so. I'm rooting for them.
Mhm, yeah, so am I.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
And before Bartiz said his little thing at the end, I thought they were going to be
Oh,
super
dude.
I
strong.
thought
But
they
now
were solid.
I question everything.
Yeah, well, especially like in the look on her face, and you just feel bad for her, right?
Yeah.
Like, you totally get it. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then after that, even he had like this strange look on his face, and he was like just kind of got quiet a little bit there, and I was like, oh man, y'all just screwed.
He
us.
almost seems like he's just in it to have a good time at this point. To
Right.
me.
Yeah. But please let us know what you thought. Yeah, we seem to get a lot of conversation on these love shows with other people compared to other stuff we do, and we enjoy it. So please let us know what you think about some of these people, and let me know what you think about Bartiz. I want to hear those people talk about
Yeah.
that. But hey, we love doing this for you guys, and please hit that like and subscribe, and we will check you at our next review.
See ya.
See ya.